Hello everyone. In our today's subject human values and professional ethics, we are going to study our next topic, that is soil management. So these are the table of content: introduction, the diminished element, protect soil from degradation, restore soil on degraded and marginal land, maintain soil based ecosystem service, enhance soil productivity, and last one is soil principle. So let's start with the introduction part. Soil, air and water are essential for human life on the earth. The urgency to maintain air quality and protect our water sources is obvious to us today. But the significance of soil is only now being properly recognized. As the most significant medium for agriculture, soil is the chief enabler for feeding and nourishing everyone on the earth. Soil has unlimited economic, environmental and social values as a habitat for millions of living organisms, a source of biofuel energy, medicines and clothing by providing ecosystem services such as filtering water and by naturally sequestering carbon to help build resilience against events caused by the climate change. Okay, the United Nations Global Compact Principle for Sustainable Soil Management, built on the United Nations Global Compact Food and Agriculture Business Principle. They respond to the call of Sustainable Development Goal and Agenda 2030 to eliminate poverty, hunger and promote sustainable use of ecosystem. They aim to increase the understanding of key actors for the urgency to protect soil through long-term programs and to strengthen existing policy for the soil conservation. The soil principles are an expert references for strategies to intensify agriculture and conserve ecosystem. Now, the diminished element. Soil is typically not valued as a critical resource, and the soil quality is often taken for granted. Soil is poorly managed in many parts of the world, and soil systems are under great stress. Policymakers, business, farmers, and the public are not well informed of what is healthy soil or the factors that affect the soil. So using soil for agriculture directly affects its quality, and good practices can both maintain the and enhance the productive capacity of soil. But several economic activities have indirect effect on soil and performance. Deforestation lead to the soil erosion, grassland are overgrazed and abandoned to become desert. Fertile soil around towns they build upon as they grow into cities at a pace increased by population growth, migration and urbanization. In the worst case, soil are so polluted they can no longer produce food or provide ecosystem services such as drainage and filtration. And the freshwater quality is declining, and the climate change will push the drought and the food cycle to greater extreme, thereby placing even further pressure on soil. Rising sea level will claim fertile coastal habitat and farmland. All this limits the ability of our soil to capture and sequester carbon, a vital function lost as we face the onset of the climate change. So, as a human, grow is absolute number. We demand that our soil yield more crops, we must be fed. And we must be fed the animal and fish we farm for protein. Also, the most effective way to lever small farmer out of poverty is to help them increasing agriculture productivity. So these demand and poverty elevations policy create pressure on soil that are rarely balanced with better soil management practices. And at the same time, many soils are stripped of nutrition and their natural reserve are continually mined but not replenished. Meanwhile, other soils suffer from overuse of fertilizers and input that lead to nutrition imbalance and the acidity. So both conditions negatively impact the nutrition value of the soil and the human being. The loss of produce in developing country due to the poor storage or infrastructure for bringing harvest quickly to market mean higher yield draw down soil resources, only a percentage of which may be consumed. And the developed countries see a high percentage of food and produce wasted by the consumer and the retailer. Whether lost or wasted, our soil are strained and drained to produce even more. Soil and farmland is also a victim of conflict and war, which degrade the health of the system by pollution, poisoning, or making it impassable or unworkable for the years. People who work the land are often the poorest on the earth. They are not empowered socially or economically to be a good caretaker. This tenure is often in question and their right as a pastoralist or farmer are usually recognized. Gender equality, children's rights are often compromised and they lack access to the credit. Coordinated global actions is necessary to mitigate the threats and protect our soil for generation to come. Despite these challenges, soil is forgiving. After a number of decades and in some cases centuries of misuse, our soil is now showing stress. Soil forms very slowly and require longer than the human lifetime to regenerate with help. This is why the preservation and restoration of soil must be a global priority. Agriculture using soil is the largest economic activity on the earth and involves the greatest number of humans. As our global population grows, the opportunity for responsible investment delivering sustainable returns are considerable. Soil must be recognized as the scarce resources. It should be mapped, classified and become a foundation for all the policies on sustainable agriculture and the food security. It is a imperative that all businesses join government and other actors in coordinating efforts to protect and rebuild our soil system. So, expanding upon the principles. During the development of the soil principles, several experts suggest pathways to global soil health. These are affected in following sections, and there is no implement hierarchy or order of importance in the sequencing. So the first one is protect soil from the physical, chemical and biological degradations, limit erosion and avoid deforestations. Maintain our current soil quality, prevent soil loss, erosion, toxicity and compactions and eliminate deforestation. So for that purpose, keep soil covered. Avoid the unnecessary disturbance of soil, encourage soil conservation agriculture, no till and the proper drainage of the soil. Choose geographically and agroeconomically appropriate cropping system and encourage crop rotation. Employ established practices that control erosion and investment in the development of the new approach to prevent erosion. And for that purpose, limit the likelihood of soil contaminations from all resources. Eliminate deforestation and allow our forests to naturally sequester carbon while investing in reforestation. Discourage the cultivation of physical marginal soil. Establish sustainable grazing patterns to prevent overgrazing and potential deforestation, and building buffer to prevent the expansion of desert. Reduce the urbanizations of agriculture land. Now, yes, restore soil on degraded and marginal land. Recover the standard, idle, economic and environmental assets that are degraded and marginal land. Conduct assessment of soil and land degradation. Understand to what level soil have degraded. Examine the timeline involved and prepare appropriately for what it will take to bring the soil back to productivity. Rebuild soil structures. Actively increase or maintain soil carbon and organic matter levels, and rebuild nutrition content and balance. Restore topsoil to historic depth. Encourage whole system management at the global, national and the local level. Now, maintain soil based ecosystem service, water availability and the quality. Recognize and manage the sustain the ecosystem services and the habitat that soil provide and contribute to the. First one is manage soil and water in the tandem. Use the appropriate balance of fertilizer at the right time of year in the right amount while avoiding ecological sensitive areas of the field. Encouraging the protections or encourage and protect beneficial microbial and biochemical activities in the soil. Promote soil resilience as a gateway to climate resilience agriculture. Create buffer and maintain the margin between the agriculture land and the water resources. Choose geographically appropriate and sustainable irrigation practices. Encourage crop stability assessment, environmental impact assessment and high conservation value assessment, especially when considering land use change. Enhance soil productivity according to its natural capacity. In that, ensure global food security through sustainable and intensifications, narrowing the yield up gap and replacing the nutrients we remove from the soil. For that purpose, sustainable intensify productivity agriculture system. Employ an integrated approach to soil fertility management and replenishment, nutrition removed from the crop harvest. Maximize the organic cycle, utilizing the organic and mineral fertilizations as appropriate and apply the right balance of the crop nutrition, both the macro and the micro level. Make the appropriate crop sections for the climate and the soil type. Maintain crop reduce cover. Okay, crop reduced cover. Manage the irrigations of livestock as a nutrition management tool. Reduce soil salinity and correct soil pH appropriately. Encourage the use of stoves among smallholder and the use of biochar. Now, develop extension services, knowledge system and promote innovation. In that, rebuild our global agriculture extension system to meet the demand of the 21st century. For that purpose, encourage investment in private sector and public extension services. Ensure that women and young people are specially targeted for the extension services. And for that purpose, provide hand-on training for farmers and agriculture dealers. Encourage investment in innovations and development for responsible and ecological sustainable new technology, including improved farmer practices, fertilizing, crop protection systems, seed varieties and species. Okay. Test, classify and map soil, integrate existing data and provide specific fertility and management recommendations by crop and soil type. Create knowledge sharing platform to promote best practices. Make soil data widely accessible and develop the long-term soil monitoring system. Encourage appropriate mechanism while avoiding the soil compaction. Communicate the importance of the soil for the general public, farmer, policy maker, business and the civil society. Advertise the importance of the soil economically and socially and environmentally. Okay. Promote knowledge sharing and partnership between the government, business academia and the civil society that set a minimum standard for the soil awareness, management and the protection. Provide training and advice for policymakers so that they can inform decisions, establish an agriculture curriculum in school and encourage young people to explore advanced educations and a career in the agriculture. Take the pressure off soil to produce so much food by educating the value chain for consumer to farmer on how to reduce the food waste. Now, how can company use the soil principle? The UN Global Compact encourage companies to support the principle for the sustainable soil management. For that, make a commitment to the global soil health. Partner with stakeholders to work for healthy soil. Share and promote better soil management practices, which include soil health in strategic and operational planning. Companies are invited to support the soil principles, develop policies and practices and report on progress on the annual basis through the Global Compact communication on the progress. Companies and other stakeholders are not expected to sign in on the soil principle. Okay. So, soil principles. If we are talking about the soil principles, so the soil principle under the umbrella of Global Compact Food and Agriculture Business Principles offer a frame to outcome and action for the companies to align with the Sustainable Development Goal and the Agenda 2030. So, business is a necessary partner to government and other stakeholders in designing and delivering effective, scalable and practical solution to make food ecosystem secure and agriculture sustainable. Okay, and to advance the positive contributions that business can make, the UN Global Compact facilitate the development of these voluntary principles for the sustainable soil management. And these soil principles are a framework for principle-based collaborations between the companies and the UN government, civil society and the other stakeholders. Okay. The soil principles were developed through the broad and inclusive multi-stakeholder process, including over 200 global experts participating in 5 global workshops and the online consultations with business, UN agencies, civil society organizations involved in agriculture, nutrition and the ecosystem. Okay. So this is all for today.